like to call to order the Alexander County Board of Commissioners regular meeting for December the 8th. You'll have to bear with me tonight. My voice is about gone. We will ask Vice Chair Larry Yoder to deliver our invocation, and immediate following, Commissioner Josh Lill will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good, let us pray. Our kind and gracious, most Heavenly Father, we appreciate the opportunity that we have in this country and in our state and in our county to be able to come together and to do the things that we should do, that through your will, that we'll do the right things to lead Alexander County, be it our federal, state, and local leaders, be it those leaders throughout the world, Lord, that we would find a way to find peace and happiness and harmony in some way through our country. It's coming upon your birth. And at this time, we'd ask that the people that are out there to celebrate Christmas for the reason that Christmas was here. We'd ask you to be with our law enforcement, our first responders, be with everyone as they go home tonight. Look after us, take care of us, for we ask these things all in thy name. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
At this time, do we have any commissioner with a commissioner's report?
Mr. Chairman, I think most of us were in the parade Saturday. The parade was a great event. A lot of young kids there, and they were all celebrating and having a good time. And we're coming upon Christmas time, and we need to remember the reason for the season. And it was an exciting time, and the parade was, I believe, 225 entries, I believe it was. But it was a large parade, and it was a good time, you know. And I've got to say one more thing that's on my mind, if you don't mind, you know, but there's been a lot of talk and everything, talking about commissioners, how we felt about Bethlehem annexation. Now, I'm just going to tell all of you right now, and I'm only going to speak for one person that's sitting here, okay? I am not in any way, shape, or form in favor of annexation of Bethlehem. I don't think it's good for our county. I don't think it's good for our citizens. And I've been around all weekend and talking to different people, and this thing has weighed heavily on my mind. My phone has been lit up all weekend. It's been lit up since last Tuesday night. And I'm just going to speak for me only. But under no way do I want to see that happen. Not in Alexander County. We're county united, and I'd like to see our county stay united the way it is. We provide law enforcement, we provide fire protection, we provide EMS, we provide water, we provide sewer. And we have worked really, really hard for the last several years to take care of this county with what little bit of money that we get to provide the services to our county and to all of our citizens. And it's vitally important. Our law enforcement does a great job, our EMS does, our fire protection does, and I see no reason whatsoever for that to happen. And I just had to say that tonight because it's everywhere I visited this weekend, whether it's at church or somewhere else, it came up. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to echo Commissioner Yoder's comments about the parade. I experienced the parade as a spectator this year. And it's been a long time since I've done that. And, you know, and honestly, just thoroughly enjoyed it. My kids had a great time. We were standing kind of in the front yard of First Baptist Church. The bags of candy we came home with, you know, as the dad, I have to look out for my kids and make sure that, you know, there are no razor blades or, you know, anything dangerous in the Snickers and the Kit Kats and the Twix, you know, because somehow that stuff doesn't get into, you know, gummy worms and things like that. But no, my kids had a great time. Not just my kids, but our family enjoyed it. And I just want to say good job to the folks that worked so hard to put that on. I'd hate to know how much money was spent on candy and, well, Matchbox cars, stuffed animals, stress balls, all kinds of things that the participants were throwing at people. So, just wanted to mention that.
Mr. Chairman, I just got one comment too. I was able to attend the parade and ride in it, and all my family that's the greatest thing for the grandkids, they think, in the world, you know? And it was just a little cool for me, but it was good. There was a lot of people there. It gives you a chance to see people and, put an eye kind of on the citizens and how many people are, interested in it. I thought there was a real good group of people watching, and, everything seemed to go real well. And, whole back of our truck when we started was full of candy, but got going pretty quick. But we did pull over, and the grandkids wanted to watch the rest of them and see Santa Claus come through. We hadn't done that. We pulled over to the health department, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, all these people's throwing candy. They're trying to get rid of it, I guess, before they got out there. And a couple of the grandkids were picking it up, and they had buckets almost full. I'm thinking, man, there's going to be cavities around my house now too. So, but it was a good thing, and I just thank our county that we can come together like that and not have any problems, and don't really know of anything that was an issue. And I'll tailgate on Mr. Yoder's comment. I'm not in favor of the Bethlehem incorporation. It's actually, if it does go through, it'll raise taxes. I don't care if you live in Vashti or if you live in Bethlehem, you're looking at a higher tax rate. And we're sitting in a pretty good position right now. I would like to lower the tax rate again if possible. But, it takes everybody working together. And, that's what we want to do. I'm just like Mr. Yoder. A lot of people asking me about it, and, I'll give my opinion. But like I say, I'm just one, but I know as the board, we may disagree, but we can agree in the end to make things good for all the citizens of the county. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Pennell,
Sir.
I got a couple things. I'd like to echo what Ronnie and Mr. Yoder said about Bethlehem. I would hate to see that happen to this county. I think it would hurt the whole county as far as tax-wise. The other thing I've got, I went to the fire chiefs meeting on November the 20th. I try to make those every quarter. I've missed one here and there, but there's a lot of good information there. I was really amazed at this meeting of just the recertification and the man hours that have to be put in. And now I kindly am starting to realize why we don't have as many volunteers as we used to, these fire departments. Those firemen have to have 36 hours of certification hours every year, on top of their original training. They've got to have 80 hours extra in every 4 years. And a new member coming in to EMT, and Jeff, if I misspoke on this, you let me know. I think they've got to have 200 hours of training, riding in an ambulance with somebody or schooling and everything before they can even think about even getting certified as far as EMS. And then our fire chiefs, they call it Fire Chief 101. They have to have an additional 4 to 6 hours every 5 years just to be a fire chief and guide and direct these other guys. So I get a lot of calls about their fire tax. Why is our fire tax this? But guys, the more you dig into this, and I didn't figure the average citizen had a clue of these man hours. That's one reason we've got to have this to keep our ISO ratings down, or every citizen in this county's insurance is going to go up. So I want to give a shout out to Chris, our fire marshal, Terry Fox helps do this training, and all of our fire chiefs. I think they deserve a big hand for doing as well as they do with what they have to do with. And I tell you, that was amazing to me, the man hours they have to put in, it just in training to be able to serve the citizens in this county. So I appreciate the time.
Mr. Chairman, I need to, I guess I need to make my opinion known about the possibility or slim chance that Bethlehem could be incorporated. As most of you know, I live in Bethlehem, born and bred. My mom was a teacher at Bethlehem Elementary, retired from there. My dad owned Bethlehem Insurance Agency. My grandfather owned Bethlehem Realty. I go to Bethlehem Baptist Church. That's where my parents went when I was born. That's where I was baptized. I know Bethlehem very well. And I can very comfortably say that the majority of Bethlehem does not want to incorporate. I personally am 100% against it. The reason I'm against the incorporation is there's no benefit. There's no benefit to the Bethlehem community, and there's no benefit to Alexander County. And anyway, that's just how it is. And I don't like paying property tax any more than anybody else does. And like I said, that I don't see any benefit because the services that we need are all being provided by Alexander County right now and have been. And yeah, that's just my opinion. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the time.
I'll make a few quick comments real quick on the parade. It's a joyful time. You get to see a lot of kids smile as you go by. That's a highlight for myself and my family. And we had Otis the dog in the back seat, and seeing the little kids point and smile and yell at him was probably the best thing. But the parade and the Alexander County Courthouse splash pad and all of that is, just another notch on the belt for quality of living, things for families to do here in the county, come together as one. We also have some cold weather coming in soon, so if you've got older folks or single folks that live nearby, check on your neighbor in the next week or two, make sure they're okay. And also remember your water. That's good information, Commissioner Herman, on the firemen. It tells me that our volunteer firemen really want to be in that line of work to put up with all of the prerequisites you got to do to get there. Also on the incorporation of Bethlehem, I have been pretty vocal over the last year. I am definitely opposed to that. You don't have to go far on my social media or newspaper or somewhere to see that I am. And then also, which commissioner mentioned tax up here?
I did.
Okay. We do have our new county manager, Mr. Mundy, and our finance department looking into some things to see if a tax rate could be decreased in the next budget year. So that's something hopeful for folks to look at as well. If there's no other commissioners' report, do we have an adoption of agenda?
Make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor, right hand. Motion carries. At this time, I'm going to ask Vice Chair, Mr. Yoder, to read a special recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This evening, we'd like to recognize two citizens who have been extremely active over the years in numerous county matters and issues of significance to the community. Bud and Judy Kaywood have been residents of Bethlehem for the past 21 years. Not only are they regular attendees of county commissioners' meetings, they have also served as follows. And Bud and Judy, if y'all don't mind, go up here and stand so you can stand and face the audience, would you please, while I talk? Specifics on Bud. Bud is a current member of the Bethlehem Business Association, former member of the Bethlehem Community Development Association. He has been a member of the Alexander County Planning Board for 14 years. He served on the committee to develop the Bethlehem Community Plan, served on the committee to update the Alexander County Comprehensive Plan, was chairman of the Citizens for the Future of Alexander County, assisted the Bethlehem Branch Library with poetry readings, art exhibitions, and other events, and also organized an open mic reading with Joseph Bahanti, North Carolina Poet Laureate. Specifics on Judy: she's vice president of the Bethlehem Business Association, served as president and treasurer of the Bethlehem Community Development Association, served as chair and treasurer of Bethlehem Day, served on the Save the Star Committee, chaired the Buy Local Committee, member of the Citizens for the Future of Alexander County, chaired the Feasibility Committee for establishing an ABC store in Alexander County, and served as chair of the Alexander County ABC Board for the past 5 years. The Kaywoods have made a significant impact in this county, and we are grateful for their dedication and commitment. And at this time, it's my honor on behalf of the citizens of Alexander County and this Board of County Commissioners to present to Bud and Judy Kaywood this plaque, and it says, "Key to the County, presented to Bud and Judy Kaywood in appreciation of many years of dedicated service to Alexander County. Presented by the Alexander County Board of Commissioners this day, December the 8th, 2025. Congratulations. You're welcome. Congratulations. Just so everyone will know, Bud and Judy's grandkids have decided that they live in Mecklenburg County. So Bud and Judy have to go to Charlotte all the time. So I didn't know until last week, they already sold their house. And they have moved to Denver, North Carolina now, and they want to be closer to the grandkids. So it's with distinct honor and privilege that I get to present this to you. And I appreciate everything you all have ever done for the county, and I know these commissioners do, and I appreciate the support that you all have given this county over the years. Okay? Oh, I know. Absolutely, man. And you, I'll just stand right here. Come on, come up. That's the podium. Yeah. Great. Get their picture first. Oh, just them first? Yeah, get their picture. Y'all can say a few words in a minute if you'd like, because I know you don't like to talk. There you go. First. All right. You got this now, or you use it first? All right. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now this one. Very good. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations, guys.
Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, you need to get the microphone.
Get the mic.
At first, I said to myself I wasn't going to say anything because I didn't know if I could keep myself from crying. The first time I drove through Alexander County, I was training for a 100-mile bicycle race, and I decided to go up the mountain, all the way up to the top of the mountains there. And I realized how incredibly beautiful this county is. And I was kind of fixed on it. And we decided to move here and live here. And we've always been involved in the things and the people around us and the businesses around us where we lived. And it was no different here. You guys are awesome. That's why we come to these meetings. You know, people say, why do you go to those meetings? I mean, they just talk about business. Well, you don't know what's going on if you don't show up. And so we're very, very happy to have you as county commissioners and lead us through all of the things that need to get done to make a county run. I'm proud of my wife and the fact that we worked hard to do the things that we wanted to have done in the county. It's an incredible place, and I hope more and more people come. And do whatever you can to keep the changes that some of these people want to make to the county. And if you need another body to take care of that, just call me. And I'll come help. But thanks for this, thanks for everything, and thanks for being the leaders of our county.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy.
We had no one to sign up for public comment. At this time, I will need a motion to open public hearing rezoning case RZ 2504 Alvarado. Did I say that right? Alvarado, okay.
Make a motion to open zoning case RZ 25-04.
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries, public hearing's open. The podium's yours, Amy.
All right. Thank you, Commissioners. So Celestino Reyes Alvarado has applied to rezone .8 acres off of Pritchard Lane from R2, which is Residential District 2, to R2R, Residential District 2 Rural. His application is complete. A little background information. Mr. Alvarado actually came and spoke with me and was looking at becoming part of the county-initiated rezoning that we did several months ago. However, he was in the process of purchasing this property at the time and was not the owner, and we were requiring that the owners sign. So he has since purchased it. He has removed the dilapidated home that was there and would like to put a single wide. Currently, R2 permits double wide, does not allow a single wide. And it does look like a single wide, but it was a site-built house that was there, so he can't replace it as a continuing nonconformity. It is consistent with the comprehensive plan. This parcel is located in the rural transition area of the future land use. So both R2 and R2R are considered appropriate districts for that area. And so this use is residential. It was from residential to residential, you know, kind of a traditional area. This also helps meet the comprehensive plan of affordable housing. So, and the final thing is it is compatible with the area. So if you look at what else is around there, there are several other single wides. As a matter of fact, not far, there is a manufactured home park that's just outside of that picture. So it is very consistent with the rest of the neighborhood. The board met and looked at this on November 13th and voted unanimously to recommend it.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that has any comments or discussion to be made?
Just be one single wide, nothing else.
Sir, hold up right there. If you would, come up here to the microphone. And when you get there, state your first and last name and your address.
William Pritchard, I live 160 Woodview Lane. on Pritchard Lane. I was just wondering if it's just gonna be just a single wide. We've got trailer parks on both sides of our property. Don't care nothing about seeing no more. So that was my only question.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a
Yeah,
response, Amy?
it's just one, and also, signs and the letters went out to 400 feet around the perimeter of that, and we've not received any phone calls asking about it or any
So
complaints.
this would be limited
concerns.
to a single family?
It would be a single family, yep.
What? I mean, I didn't really think mobile home parks were even a possibility.
Oh, new ones?
Right.
So new ones, they are a possibility, but essentially they would have to meet similar standards to a subdivision. So based on how many units were in there, they would have to provide roads, open area,
Question right there.
buffer.
This is getting away from what we're on here tonight.
Correct.
But
Yeah,
mobile home park, if someone put a new one, would that be a independent parcel of land per home in that mobile home park? I was thinking our county wouldn't allow new mobile home parks anymore.
yeah, a manufactured home park would be multiple on one parcel. That would be a difference between a manufactured home park. If somebody purchased
Do allow that
land.
here now?
Yes, there is a path to do that. It would be, like I said,
No.
there would be standards, there would be buffers, may have to have a special use permit depending on location. So technically, yes, could. For the most part, we have some that expand existing or, are looking at that, but otherwise, it would be subdividing in just a single family. And that's what this is.
Any
a
other questions,
single family.
comments from the board?
No, I just want to say one thing, if you don't mind. Based on what Mr. Pritchard just said, I just want to make sure that we're absolutely positively clear. Only one mobile home on this property, period. And if they wanted to change anything else, they'd have to come back with another,
Yes, they would have to subdivide the property and,
right, okay.
the
Just want
zoning.
to make sure that, to make sure that they know.
The
yeah,
little-
in order to put another single wide there, as is, it would have to be subdivided, and they would have to allow a 30-foot access to the back, and the size of the lot would make it difficult to do that, but, yeah,
And-
that would be another,
And I'll say, from my layman's perspective, with my day job being construction, I mean, for that small piece of property to be subdivided, and with the road requirements and the expense, and, I mean, there's,
correct. Yeah.
when you're talking $400 a linear foot for a road,
And this
that's
decision.
$40,000 for 100 feet.
Yeah. This decision is based on the land,
Right.
not on the individual, but
Right. So,
Mr.
so
Alvarado.
I mean, even if somebody were to apply for a mobile home park on this little piece of property, you
Yeah.
can't get what I would consider a mobile home park of any kind on that piece of property.
Yeah.
Because it's just the sheer, the subdivision requirements and such.
Any other comments?
But just make sure everybody understands where it's at, this property is actually between 64 and Business 90. Is that Richard Lane on that
It-
side?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Come to the podium, ma'am. Yeah, first and last name and address, please.
I'm Sherry Wingler, Hamby. I live at 623 Pritchard Lane. I have a single-family, stick-built dwelling across the street from this said property. There's mobile homes that's really an eyesore across the street. I feel like it's taken the value down of my house. I've got pictures. I just want to make sure if this goes through and they put something there, it's not going to be an eyesore, because I've worked hard for what I've got. My husband passed away several years ago. I've got 2 fine sons, and, you know, they've been wanting me to sell and move to Bethlehem. But, you know, I enjoy my house where it's at. It's the size for me. I enjoy Hidnight. I've lived in Taylorsville and Hidnight all my 70 years. But I really would like for the community to be cleaned up over there because it looks terrible across the street. And that's what I've got to say. But I can show you pictures if you'd like to see.
I don't need to see them, but I will personally ride down through there tomorrow and take a look.
Okay, thank you.
And we will send a code enforcer down the road just to make sure everything is meeting code.
Thank you.
If there's no further comments, do we have a motion to close public hearing?
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor, right hand. Public hearing is closed. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve, and let me get back to the, that we approve rezoning, case RZ 25-4-04, based on the recommendation of the planning board, as well as it meeting the criteria, or meeting the intentions of the land use plan, and make that in the form of a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we have a phone-in regards to the Renew NC Single Family Housing Program by Stephanie Magara from the
That's
NC,
correct.
from the NC Commerce Deputy Secretary for Community Revitalization. Please go ahead, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, and I apologize for not being able to be there in person. I got caught up in this weather and actually got snowed into Burnsville about a month ago going to Yancey County. So I was a little worried about coming out there again. Anyway, if you go to the first slide that shows a pie chart, I'll be happy to walk you through our program and tell you all more about what we're doing, and hopefully be able to get your help and some suggestions of how to make sure we get everybody in Alexander County to apply that needs help. Okay, so you can see we got $1.4 billion allocated to us from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, commonly known as HUD. And we don't have the money yet, but it has been allocated to us, and we draw it down as we use it. So we put the biggest portion of those funds into single-family housing, and I'll go into more details about that program. And then another $191 million we plan for multifamily rental housing, $53 million for workforce housing for ownership, $194 million for community infrastructure, and $111 million for economic revitalization. And then HUD has you set aside 5% for administration. If we don't use all that money, we can put it into the programs, the administration part. So next slide, please. So this is meant to be the funding of last resort, and I want to talk a little bit more about that. It's called the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery, or CDBGDR. And this money is allocated by HUD and appropriated by Congress to states after disasters. And it's great, it's a lot of money, but it comes with a lot of strings. So HUD identifies for us what they call the most impacted and distressed areas, or the MID. And you can see in the map to the right that the red counties are those that they have designated as the most impacted and distressed. And then the blue counties, of which Alexander is one, is what the state designates. So 80% of the funds have to be spent in the red counties. And that one zip code in Charlotte, which is just south of Lake Norman, that yellow part, where there's significant flooding just in that one zip code. And then up to 20% of the funds can be spent in the blue counties. We chose the blue counties based on the FEMA disaster data and where people were applying for individual assistance and where there was some significant public assistance damage. So 70% of the funds, so you have the 80-20 split, and then you have, HUD says that 70% of all the funds have to benefit low to moderate income households and communities. So we do have requirements there as well. And then we had to submit an action plan to them, which we did, and it was approved in July. That outlines the use of the funds and what we plan to do, which is that breakdown I showed you in the previous slide. And then this is probably the most challenging part of the whole program but it seems so innocent in that last bullet, is that we have to comply with all the federal laws around procurement, environment, the National Environmental Policy Act, the National Historic Preservation Act, the Fair Housing Act, Davis-Bacon. There's quite a lot that comes along with these federal funds. Next slide, please. So to get into the single family program, this kind of outlines the purpose of it. Again, it's to help folks who own their own homes and that had their homes damaged by Hurricane Helene. And we will do rehabilitation, reconstruction, or replacement. And it is, again, funded by HUD and run through the North Carolina Department of Commerce. Next slide, please. So the program's purpose is to repair, reconstruct, or replace those Helene damaged owner-occupied single-family units. And right now, what we're seeing with the data is that most of the homes have been so significantly damaged that they're about 75% of them are running into reconstruction. HUD requires us to make sure if we do a rehab, that we build back to code, we build back to standards, we give people back safe housing. And so oftentimes what you'll find with rehabilitation is there's just a lot of things that need to be brought up to code, or things if they're older homes. And so it usually is more affordable to reconstruct than to try to repair in a lot of cases. So there's a list of frequently asked questions and answers. You can see that at the bottom. Next slide, please. This gets into the eligibility criteria. So we work with applicants so they understand, what they need. And we have multiple ways I'll talk about that they can apply for the program. But they have to have owned the damaged property at the time of Hurricane Helene. They must still own the property. It has to be their primary residence. So I know we have a lot of people in different parts of the mountains that have secondary residences, and we will not be able to repair or replace those. The property must have been damaged as a result of Helene. It must be an eligible structure type. The applicant must be current on their property taxes or on a payment plan to be in good standing. Same with their mortgage. And we start with applicants at 60% or less of the area median income. That area median income is set by HUD. And then we move into 80% or less, and then 120% or less. We also serve those people who are in the HUD mid or priority 1, and in the state mid or priority 2. And then we work first with those applicants that either have a senior, a child, or someone with a disability in the home. So we're working through the eligibility and the list of folks that we have that way. We've had 6,400 people apply for the program, and we have started construction. So next slide, please. These are the documents that people need to apply. Again, we sit down with case managers. We work through all this information with people. Most of this is required by HUD, so we do have a lot of things that we have to work through with people. Next slide, please. This goes through the applicant process, what happens with the applicant, the documentation, submitting their application, getting a case manager, doing intake, eligibility, making sure that they're eligible under the program. Duplication of benefits it's also a federal requirement. It's probably one of the hardest things we deal with. And what happens there is if you got a FEMA individual assistance or you got insurance payments and it was for your home and you didn't put it in your home, we have to duplicate deduplicate that benefit so that you can't get federal funds twice for repairing your home. So some applicants have already put the money into their homes, and that's less damage that we have to repair. Or in other cases, they provide us with a check so that we can complete their work and make sure there's no duplication of benefits. It is really on a case-by-case basis, and we work with people, but it is a federal requirement of the program. We also have to do a site-specific environmental review, and then once an award determination is made, you can move into working with the contractor. The state has contracted with 31 general contractors or builders to help us do the work for this program. And we have several in active construction. I think we've finished 5, and we have 11 in construction right now. So the next slide, the Alexander County specific information. This is as of December 3rd. I think as of today, we have 41 total applications submitted for Alexander County. We have 5 that have been confirmed as eligible, and 4 of the 5 have had their damage assessments completed. So we think this represents about 31% of the total damaged homes, and those total damaged homes numbers come from what FEMA gave us, plus the Small Business Administration, plus what we got from counties. And we have been doing door knocking and phone calls. We found that to be the most effective way to reach people. So we've knocked on 185 doors in Alexander County. If there are other things that y'all can think of that we can do to get the word out, in some counties, they send out texts through their emergency management system or things like that. We're all ears and willing to hear. We just want to make sure the deadline is December 31st. So if you move to the next slide, the deadline is December 31st. And people can apply in person at any of our intake centers. We have 3. Probably the closest one to y'all is in Boone, but there's another one in Marion and another one in Asheville. And then we also have pop-up centers. So Caldwell County lets us use their NC Work Center. So Mondays from 9 to 4, we're there as well. And the same for Wilkes County on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 6. There's also an online portal and a mobile app, and we've come out and done events as well, and then people can call. But we do appreciate your willingness to help us get the word out. And then the last slide is about the other 4 programs. We are going to be launching the small multifamily housing. It's a little bit of a misnomer, but it's essentially rental properties. And so we're going to launch the small ones first. That's going to come on December 15th. And that is to repair or rebuild rental units that were damaged, 4 units or less, so the smaller landlords. And they have to maintain affordable rent. And that's set, again, with a chart by HUD for a 10-year period of time, but we will rebuild or repair rental units. And then the larger projects that get the low-income housing tax credits, we are partnering with the Housing Finance Agency, and that will be launched in January, and we will fund parts of the gap for the financing for those projects. Workforce housing for ownership will come later in 2026. That's only going to be eligible for the HUD mid areas. So Alexander, if we get more money, we might be able to expand it to the state mid, but at this time, Alexander would not be eligible. And then the next one is the commercial district revitalization. So we know we had a lot of damage to some of our commercial structures in different parts of Western North Carolina. So again, that's the funding of last resort, but it would go to eligible applicants would be local governments or downtown nonprofits to help rebuild and revitalize those in those commercial districts. And then lastly is the community infrastructure program. Again, this is meant to fund the gap left over from FEMA public assistance or other funds for infrastructure that was damaged in Helene, and or you can either use the money to make them more resilient, so to build it back better than what you had, or to fund the gap if something's not covered by FEMA PA. And the eligible applicants there for infrastructure will be local governments. So we are waiting on some of the FEMA determinations. We can't move faster than FEMA in this case, so I'm anticipating late spring 2026 to be able to launch those applications. Thank you so much for your time. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, Commissioner. We thank you for your time, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
At this time, we'll ask our Public Works Facilities Director, Josh Mitchell, to come forward. In regards to the Three Forks Church Road Water Project bid award recommendation.
Good evening, Commissioners. November 18th, we had 3 bids come in on the Three Forks Waterline Extension Project. The low bid was Iron Mountain Construction out of Mountain City, Tennessee, with a bid of $1,645,883. To that, we would add $80,000 for contingency, which would bring the project total to $1,725,883. There is already an established project budget ordinance for this project with sufficient funds in it. And this is funded by a 2023 state appropriation from the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality. Iron Mountain has completed similar projects in the past, and it is recommended by McGill and Associates, which is our engineer for this project, to accept this low bid.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say I'm glad to see it coming to bids. I know a lot of people on that road. I have lived in that area, and a lot of them are looking for water. They have wells, and, you know, you can bore a well, but there's no guarantee you're gonna have water you can drink, you know, when you bore it. So, we sometimes think hooking to the water's a little expensive, but if you look at the longevity, you know, it's a pretty good deal. And, I'm just glad it's coming to fruition and get some dirt turning. So I appreciate your work on this too.
Thank you. Yeah, the hope would be to start this, sometime soon after the beginning of the year. And it is, I meant to mention, it's around 10,000 linear feet of 8-inch water line.
What's the completion time frame after they start?
I think it was 365 days. They have a year.
Any other commissioner?
Let's do it.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to accept the bid from Iron Mountain for the Three Forks Church Road Water Project.
Second.
Second.
And that was with the addition of the 5%.
5%.
Contingency, yes.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. And Mr. Mitchell, if you would, take us straight into the Bethlehem Booster Station project bid.
Next is the Bethlehem Booster Station. This project goes in with the water tank that we are currently building in Bethlehem. This booster station will actually fill the water tank. We received a total of 4 bids on November 13th. Brushy Mountain Builders out of Caldwell County was the low bid, with a low bid of $2,274,980, with a contingency of $140,000, bringing the total of the project to $2,414,980. West Consultants, which is our engineer on this project, recommended accepting the low bid from Brushy Mountain Builders as they have completed projects similar to this, and they are a licensed North Carolina contractor. This will require a budget amendment, which is in your packets for tonight. We will be moving money from the Water and Sewer Fund, Enterprise Fund, over to the current project budget ordinance for the Bethlehem water tank.
Any discussion from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make a point for clarification. When you say that money will be moved from Water and Sewer Fund, which is an enterprise fund, to the current project, for anyone that's not familiar with county county government terms, basically, the money that will be used for this comes from money generated by the water and sewer system currently.
Yes, sir.
And this will not be, and this is not property tax money being spent. This is not general fund, general government fund money. This money will be coming from the water and sewer fund, which essentially pays for itself and, has no impact whatsoever on, property tax or general budget monies. Is that correct, sir?
Correct. And I will mention while I'm up here, we did receive a large amount of money from the state to go towards that water tank. And that's why we split the thing up, because we want to get the tank started and going, because there was a sunset on some of that state money. So we want to get the tank going to spend that state money, knowing we were going to have to come back and put this booster station in later. But my hope is that they both end up being finished about the same time.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chairman, the reason I pointed that out is I know there are folks in Alexander County that do not have county water. And I doubt the folks that do not have county water want to be paying for the county water system and for the people that do have county water. And so, like I mentioned, just for clarification, there's no tax money being spent on, this water and sewer expansion.
And there'll be no property tax increase for doing any of this. And we do, just like you said, we search for grants, search for money to help offset things, so. But I'm a firm believer too, when we get the money, then we spend the money. So that's kind of the way we've been operating, so. But appreciate what you do.
Thank you. But it's correct. This is from the water sewer fund, which is the revenues from the water sales in the county, water and sewer fees that the citizens pay.
All right, so what's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve the water booster station as presented by Mr. Mitchell.
Second. First and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Thank you.
This time we'll call County Attorney Ben Falconberry for the CPACE Program Resolution of Intent.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. Tonight, I am presenting an overview of the North Carolina Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditure Program, which is a mouthful, but it's commonly known as CPACE, and outlining what potential participation would mean for the county. In 2024, the General Assembly passed Senate Bill 802, which created the CPACE program. The program is, the purpose is simple, is to give commercial property owners access to private long-term financing for building improvements. And those building improvements are focused to improve energy efficiency, water conservation, renewable energy, and resiliency. These improvements will support economic development within the county. It will improve indoor air quality for workers, and help communities better withstand natural disasters. Under state law, this program is administered specifically by the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, or the EDPNC. It is available to owners of qualifying commercial, industrial, agricultural, and multifamily properties. So even though I mentioned commercial, there is potential for residential properties with 5 or more units to use this program. Property owners can finance up to 35% of the property's value, and that repayment term may be extended 20 to 30 years based on the useful life of the improvements. A key point is all financing in this program is provided by private capital providers, not by the county. The county is not involved in lending money or overseeing the terms of those agreements between the property owners and the lenders. So the process works with the property owner and the capital provider negotiating a financing agreement. The county would then record an assessment lien, or similar to a tax lien, on that property, but only after the owner requests it, and that assessment is repaid over time by the property owner, similarly to a tax assessment. Billing, collection, enforcement are all handled entirely by the capital provider. The county has no role in collections. If the property is sold, the assessment rolls to the next owner if it's not been paid off previously. So for local governments, it's intended to be cost neutral and require minimal administrative resources, but we are reimbursed, I believe, $500 per assessment for administrative costs for our part in this program. The administrative role of the EDP&C is that they handle the applications, they approve the applications, prepare the closing documents, record the assessment and lien. The county's primary role is simply signing the required assessment documents once they're approved. There are 3 steps to joining CPACE, the first of which we're doing tonight with the board's approval, which is the adoption of a resolution of intent, which authorizes EDP&C to administer the CPACE within the jurisdictional limits of Alexander County, and sets a date for a public hearing, which is tentatively scheduled for January 5th, 2026. That public hearing will occur then, and then it's at that point, if it's the board's pleasure, to adopt the final resolution joining the statewide program. This is a private investment tool, but it also is used for economic development purposes within the county to give our commercial property owners access to another funding resource, financing resource, and also to grow the property values on those commercial properties. With that being said, I'll try to answer any questions you may have. Again, this is the resolution of intent. There will be a public hearing January 5th, and at that point, the final resolution to join CPACE, if it is the board's intent to do so, would be heard on January 5th.
Any discussion or comments from the board in regard to the CPACE? This will require a vote, correct?
The resolution of intent will require a vote, yes, sir.
Make a motion to accept the resolution of intent of Alexander County, North Carolina, to participate in the commercial property assessed capital expenditure program.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. At this time, we'll ask Commissioner Lale to read the Christmas in Bethlehem proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a proclamation declaring December 1st through 31st, 2025 as Christmas in Bethlehem. Whereas Alexander County wishes to promote events that increase community spirit and offer opportunities for fellowship during the holiday season. And whereas the annual Bethlehem Star Lighting scheduled for December 8th, 2025 has been a fixture of the Christmas season for nearly 50 years, drawing thousands of citizens to the Bethlehem area. And whereas 2 Christmas drive-through events are set for December 12th through 14th, 2025. And whereas the Bethlehem Post Office will allow citizens to use the Bethlehem NC stamp to imprint the back of their Christmas cards and other mailings. And whereas these events promote values and goodwill, which are the binding fiber of the community and are strongly supported by Alexander County, area churches, businesses, and citizens. Now therefore be it resolved that the Alexander County Board of Commissioners does hereby declare December 1st through 31st, 2025 as Christmas in Bethlehem, adopted this 8th day of December 2025, to be signed by Commission Chairman Marty Pennell and attested by Commission Clerk Jamie Starnes.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All in favor, right hand. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. At this time, we're at the end of the year. and I will call upon my fellow commissioners. It is time to elect a new chairman for the 2026 year. Do we have any recommendations?
Mr. Pennell, I'd like to nominate Mr. Larry Yoder for chair.
We have a recommendation for Mr. Yoder. We'll call for a vote. All in favor of Mr. Yoder becoming the chairman for 2026, raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously, minus Mr. Yoder. Moving on, we will now elect a vice chairman for 2026.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Josh Lael for vice chairman.
If no other recommendations, all in favor of Mr. Lael becoming the 2026 vice chair, raise your right hand. Huh? Oh, I didn't? I apologize. He motioned. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second? Now everybody raise your right hand. Thank you. I left out the second, guys, sorry.
Sorry.
Two tries.
Yeah, 2 tries, you got in. At this time, we will ask County Manager Justin Mundy, reading of the budget ordinance amendments number 13 through 15.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So budget ordinance number 13, these are 3 amendments tonight for your all's consideration. Number 13 is to increase Sheriff's Office for donations received, to increase the cooperative extension budget for a Blue Cross Blue Shield grant to be used for healthy eating demonstrations with the youth, and to decrease the Health Department budgeted revenue for private grant funds that were previously recognized and received in prior years. Budget ordinance amendment number 14 is to decrease DSS budget for the state's reallocation of a portion of APS and CPS essential funding to other counties, and to increase the DSS expenditure budget for additional parenting capacity evaluations to be paid from via child welfare. And budget ordinance amendment number 15 is the one that Mr. Mitchell spoke about previously. This is to budget for fiscal year 26 interfund transfer from the Water and Sewer Fund annual budget to the Bethlehem Water Tank multi-year project budget. The estimated cost is based on the November 13th, 2025 bid received.
You've heard the reading of the amendments. Any discussion or comments from the commissioners? Nope. If not, what is the pleasure of the board?
Make a motion to approve the budget amendments 13, 14, and 15 as presented by the chairman of the manager.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, thank you. At this time, we'll ask our county manager also to bring forth the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the consent agenda is for your all's consideration tonight. It includes tax abatements and adjustments in amount of $5,421.18 and tax refunds in the amount of $44,345.83 for the month of November. It also includes several sets of minutes. It includes board committee appointments for the LEPC and ABC Board. It also includes your line item transfer report for October 31st, 2025. It also includes a revised fiscal year 2025 audit contract with Martin Starnes and Associates. It includes a resolution authorizing the acceptance of donated property to Alexander County. It includes a resolution approving the official bond for the Alexander County Register of Deeds pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 161-4. It includes a fee schedule correction for Alexander County Parks. It includes a quarter employee of the year and quarter policy. And it also includes a request to surplus a 2000 GMC truck, a 2012 Bobcat zero-turn mower, and an AMCO brake lathe.
Make a motion to accept consent agenda as given.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, right hand. Motion carries unanimously. At this time, I do want to say that Mr. Yoder will be your chairman for next year. I have greatly enjoyed being the chairman during the 2025 season, and I appreciate all of my fellow commissioners. At this time, we'll ask County Manager Ben Falconberry to take us into adjournment.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
could I failed to announce something earlier. Could I do that this time?
Yes, go ahead.
Our state senator got some money, grant money, funded a year ago through a 501c3, Mercy and Truth Ministries in Wilkes County. And through Country Grace Church and the help of the volunteer firemen in this county, I hadn't got a printout yet of how many needy children we're gonna be able to help this year. Last year it was limited because of the Hurricane Helene in the mountains. Most of the money and stuff went to the mountains. But this year, it looks like, the last I've heard, hate to put out a number, but it looks like 40-some families across Alexander County. And how this was, how they come by this, they went to the guidance counselor in each school, and there was some paperwork that had to be filled out to apply. And that's how these kids were approved. So the last time I heard, it was like 40-some families. And the fire departments are gonna help with this. They're gonna bring all the stuff out to my arena at H&H Arena, and we'll take it out on Saturday morning, December the 20th, about 10 o'clock. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Senator Settle. There was some money in Raleigh he was able to get his hands on, and some of it was earmarked to help this county's needy, plus the other counties in his district. And Mercy and Truth has helped with that through this county. So I
That's
just
really
want to
good to
say
hear.
thanks.
That's a good thing.
Thanks for mentioning that, Mr. Herman.
Mr. Chairman, just have one thing. I want to just tell our new county manager, Mr. Mundy, how good it is to have a county manager sitting there at the end of that, our seat here, and I appreciate you coming on board and looking for good things from all of us, and we want to keep you busy.
It's great to be here.
And one other thing I'd like to say, I just want to say, Chairman Pennell, good job. We appreciate everything this year. I mean, you've done a great job as chair this year,
Thank you.
and just want to say we appreciate it, because I know being the chair requires a lot more work than being one of the other four.
And you
Thank you, I
kept the
appreciate
wheels on the bus. That's a good thing. We made it.
Round and round.
That's right.
All right, so we will move from our regular meeting into our consolidated.
If you could adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting and move into the Consolidated Health Board. We do
Will
have
you be
some,
leading us into adjournment, or do you want me to?
I will lead you to closed session at the end of the
Okay.
Consolidated.
Do I have a motion to adjourn our regular meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, right hand. Motion carries. Now would be, if you're wanting to leave, now would be a good time if you don't want to stay for the Consolidated Human Services Board
Oh,
meeting.
we got to stay.
Yeah, you gotta stay. But we'd love to have you to stay. Y'all take care, Bud and G. At this time, we'll call to order the Alexander County Consolidated Human Services Board meeting for December the 8th. And we will turn it over to County Attorney Ben Falconberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Due to the potential for inclement weather tonight, the decision was made to limit county staff's involvement due to the time and the temperature dropping rapidly. So I'll be filling in for not only the Health Director, Ms. Billy Walker, but also the DSS Director, Carrie Jarrell, and the Senior Center Director, Christy Hunt. And I will try to bring the same energy that Ms. Hunt brings to her presentation each meeting. But I don't think that's possible because she loves her job.
You gonna dance for us?
So first will be the public health report. There is one action to be made by the board. It is a motion to approve the requested fee increase. But before I get there, would like to give a public health update. There are 3 current vacancies. One for advisory board member. That's an ophthalmologist that's required per state statute to serve on that consolidated health board. An ophthalmologist that resides within Alexander County. There are 2 internal vacancies, one being a public health intern, that's an unpaid position, as well as the school-based dental coordinator. So those are 3 current vacancies within the public health department. The fee, which I mentioned, is for health department services under General Statute 130A-39G. Those fees are authorized if they are in accordance with the plan recommended by the health director and approved by this board. The health director is requesting a fee increase for the RSV monoclonal antibody vaccine. Its current fee is $0, which is on your screen. Proposed fee increase would be to $575. Again, that is to cover the insurance price that we pay for that vaccine. So most of those vaccines are, well, the RSV is covered by most insurance plans, including Medicare. That does need a vote to approve that fee increase.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve fee increase.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries.
The only other, thank you, the only other matters from the public health perspective is the accreditation updates, which would include the annual performance evaluation and job description approval for health director, which will occur in closed session. Just wanted to update the board on that.
Yes, sir.
The next is the DSS report. I'll give a brief update for social services, but I'll leave updates on Path NC, NC Oasis, and how HR 1 changes will impact fiscal year 26 and 27 budget plans for DSS staff at the next Consolidated Human Services Board meeting. There is, the current vacancy rate at DSS is 14% for the last quarter, with qualified child welfare and economic services applicants being sought to join staff. There were 2 new hires for DSS, one in child protective services and one in adult protective services. There's also a chart detailing the numbers from the last quarter. In foster care, you have 46 children in DSS custody, 7 children in Links, 3 children in the 18 to 21 program, 10 in foster care, foster homes in Alexander County. There have been 4 adoptions completed this quarter, 2 pending adoptions with the plan to complete those in early 2026, 12 children awaiting adoption, 6 children placed with the guardianship, and 5 reunified with parents. There are also 13 adult wards currently with the APS. That is the update for the Department of Social Services. As for the Senior Center report, you can see in your packets a very detailed slideshow with all the activities that have been occurring, not only at the Taylorsville branch, but also the Bethlehem branch, including candle making, ice cream social, and musicians jam. I know the Senior Center is also very busy with Medicare open enrollment. And just to get the word out that if any seniors out there need help with Medicare enrollment, not to hesitate to contact the Senior Center, and they will help any way they can. There's also health fairs that you can see an update for, and day trips. And again, Senior Center works really hard with a growing group of seniors in Alexander County to provide services to our seniors and to help them in any way we can. And Ms. Hunt does a great job at doing that. So that'll be the Senior Center report.
Any discussion on senior center, guys? If not, Mr. Fogelberry, if you would take us into closed session.
Yes. I apologize. Shuffled my paper up, I apologize. Pursuant to General Statute 143-318, 11A, 3, 4, and 6, I ask the board for a motion to go into closed session to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, and to consider the qualifications, competence, performance, character, fitness, conditions of appointment of an individual public officer or employee.
I make a motion, we go into closed session. All in favor, right hand. Motion carries.